Christmas has been canceled in Bethlehem. As the death toll tops 20,000 in Gaza, we begin today's show in the occupied West Bank, yes, in the city of Bethlehem, the birthplace of Jesus Christ. The Christmas season is normally a festive time in Bethlehem, but not this year, as church leaders have canceled public Christmas festivities, citing Israel's devastating attack on Gaza. This is the Reverend Isaac Munther, the Palestinian pastor of a landmark Lutheran church in Bethlehem. He addressed his congregation earlier this month in front of a nativity scene with the figure of Jesus Christ in a keffiyeh surrounded by rubble.
Christmas is a ray of light and hope from the heart of pain and suffering. Christmas is the radiance of life from the heart of destruction and death. In Gaza, God is under the rubble. He's in the operating room. If Christ were to be born today, he would be born under the rubble. I invite you to see the image of Jesus in every child killed and pulled from under the rubble, and every child struggling for life in destroyed hospitals, and every child in incubators. Christmas celebrations are canceled this year, but Christmas itself is not and will not be canceled, for our hope cannot be canceled.
That was the Reverend Isaac Munther, the Palestinian pastor of a landmark Lutheran church in Bethlehem. He spoke in front of a nativity scene with the figure of Christ surrounded by rubble, the baby Jesus. Earlier this week, Pope Francis accused Israel of committing terrorism in Gaza after an Israeli sniper shot dead 2 women, an elderly woman and her adult daughter who had tried to save her mother at a Catholic church in Gaza City where they had sought refuge. It was the Holy Family Parish Church. Politico reports Israel recently attacked a church and a convent in Gaza, even though congressional staffers in Washington had urged Israel to protect the religious sites and gave them the coordinates of the churches. We go now to Bethlehem, where we're joined by the Reverend Mitri Raheb. He's president of Dar al-Kalima University in Bethlehem, Palestinian Christian theologian who's authored many books, including Decolonizing Palestine, the Land, the People, the Bible. It's hard to say Merry Christmas to you, Reverend Professor Dr. Mitri Raheb, but I will ask you how you're observing Christmas this year. Talk about Bethlehem.
You know, it's a very sad Christmas. I don't think in my entire life I experienced so much sadness, but also so much anger about what's happening in Gaza. As you said, the celebration, the festivities were canceled in Bethlehem. So you don't have Christmas lights, you don't have Christmas tree in Bethlehem. There are no tourists coming because of the war. And the people are not up for celebrations because our people in Gaza, but not only our people in Gaza, also our people in the West Bank. We here in the West Bank, we experiencing apartheid, colonization by Jewish settlers, you know, the death tolls, as you said, 20,000 in Gaza, but also even in the West Bank in the hundreds, and also the detainees, Palestinian detainees within these 75 days in the West Bank are over 3,000.
You have said that the story of Christmas, the story of the birth of Jesus, is more relevant now than ever, even though you will not be having festivities around this.
Correct, because the Christmas story actually is a Palestinian story par excellence. It talks about a family in Nazareth in the north of Palestine that is ordered by an imperial decree of the Romans to evacuate to Bethlehem, to go there and register. And this is exactly what our people in Gaza has been experiencing these 75 days. It talks about Mary, the pregnant woman, on the run, exactly like 50,000 women in Gaza who are actually displaced. Jesus was born actually as a refugee. There was no place at the inn for him to be born. So he was put in a manger. And this is exactly what also the kids that are coming to life these days in Gaza are experiencing. Most of the hospitals are damaged, out of service, and so there is no delivery places for all of these pregnant women in Gaza. And then you have the bloodthirsty Herod that ordered to kill the kids in Bethlehem to stay in power. And in Gaza, over 8,000 kids, they have been murdered for Netanyahu to stay in power. And you have this message that the angels declared here, glory to God in the highest, peace on earth, which was actually a critique of the empire, because glory belongs to the Almighty and not to the mighty. And the peace that Jesus came to proclaim is not the peace, the Pax Romana, the peace that is based on subjugation and military oppression, but on human dignity, equality, and justice. And this is actually what we call for. And I have to say, I find it really a shame that that in this season, where every church hears these words, peace on earth, that the United States is vetoing even a ceasefire. It's a shame.